everyone! Today we're turning Stitch from Lilo Stitch into a full Pokémon evolution line. We'll start with his standard form, then we'll draw his pre-evolution, and then reveal a final evolution that's bigger, stronger, and built to battle. First up, we have Stitch, the middle stage and the core of this evolution line. This is the version of Stitch we all recognize, wild, unpredictable, but somehow lovable. He's mischievous, resilient, and can take a punch and give it right back. Did you know Stitch was originally created in the 1980s by Chris Sanders as a character for a children's book? Decades later, he reimagined him for Disney, eventually co-directing Lilo and Stitch, and even voicing the little blue alien himself. Just a fun fact to keep in mind as we start bringing him into the world of Pokémon. Design-wise, the fur is a bit chunkier, like it's usually drawn in other Pokémon, instead of the original style where you can see very thin strands of hair. The claws are also a bit shorter and wider to fit the style better. I started with the original Stitch to get familiar with its design and warm up. While drawing it, I was already thinking about what to do for the other evolution stages and thinking about how it would fit in the Pokémon world. This version of Stitch is built to fight, but not in a brute force way. He's more of a rogue type battler, slippery, clever, and hard to predict. I gave him the electric dark type because it captures his chaotic good vibe. He uses electricity not just to attack but to disable, confuse, and disrupt. He learns moves like Discharge, Bite, U-Turn, Thunder Wave, and Nasty Plot. His signature move? Alien Blitz, a dark type attack that hits multiple times, each with a chance to paralyze or flinch. It fits his erratic, in-your-face battle style. Stitch's ability will be Static Mischief. When he lands a critical hit, there's a chance the opponent held items get disabled for the rest of the battle. It's unfair, sneaky, and it's very Stitch. His Pokédex entry might say, a clever and elusive Pokémon, Stitch thrives on chaos. It often sneaks into cities at night, causing power surges and unexplained mischief. When coloring, I picked a watercolor brush trying to pay homage to the original Pokémon illustrations where watercolor was a very strong stylistic choice. The newest Pokémon illustrations are more flat and cel-shaded, but I think I prefer the classic charm. In the game world, Stitch will probably be a mid-game capture of the evolved form of Stibby, once you build a strong bond. Maybe it evolves during a thunderstorm or after a certain number of successful status-inflicted moves. Stitch is the Team Gremlin. He messes up your opponent's strategy, zips around with crazy speed, and always has a smirk on his face. He's not just a fighter, he's a trickster, and you'll love him for it. I just watched the original animated movie, and I loved it once again. Stitch's design and the whole animation still holds up very well. It looks amazing. This was a good warm-up, and I like the painting style, but this is just starting. Let's rewind and meet Stitch's baby form, Stibby, the pre-evolution of Stitch. This little guy is designed to be the cutest bundle of alien chaos you've ever seen. Think of the love child between Pichu, Togepi, and a tiny fluffy gremlin. I wanted to take Stitch's mischievous energy and dial it back into something more innocent and huggable, while still hinting at the wild power he'll grow into. And what you saw on screen is my first failed attempt. I wanted to leave it in the video just to share that not always the first ideas are the best ideas. I noticed I didn't really like it, so I just moved it aside and started a new sketch. Design-wise, Stibby is small and round with big glowing eyes, puffy fur, and teeny tiny claws. Its ears are oversized compared to its head, which gives it that classic baby Pokémon look. The ears also act like antennae, twitching to pick up electromagnetic waves in the air. It's almost like a mini alien radar. The tail is short and stubby, almost like a spark plug, and it flickers with static when it gets excited. As a fairy electric type, Stibby has a playful but unpredictable nature. It learns moves like Baby Doll Eyes, Charge, Sweet Kiss, and Spark. It doesn't have a lot of battle strength early on, but it makes up for that with confusion tactics and status moves. Think of like a support Pokémon that messes with opponents while dodging attacks with uncanny speed. I imagine Stibby being the kind of Pokémon you find early in the game, maybe after helping it escape from a crashed alien pod or a lab experiment gone wrong. It bonds quickly with the player, but requires high friendship to evolve. It absolutely hates being scolded and sulks if it loses a fight. But give it some Pokebuffs and a few headpats and it'll bring back to zapping your toaster for fun. Stibby's Pokédex entry might say something like, tough, small, and playful. This Pokémon discharges bursts into static when startled. It often hides in machines, mistaking them for nests. The idea here was to hint at the destructive potential while keeping the design approachable. A true starter companion that has more to offer than meets the eye. The kind of creature that makes trainers think, "Aww, I love it," and then 5 minutes later, "Wait, did it just fry my Pokédex?" This stage is about laying the foundation for Stitch evolution line. Alien origin, electric energy, chaotic good alignment, and a whole lot of charm. Stevie is cute, unpredictable, and ready to spark trouble, literally. And once it grows up, it becomes the battle-ready Stitch we just saw. But with enough training and a little more alien power, there's still one more transformation to go. Now for the grand finale, Stitchomorph. This is Stitch at its most powerful, an alien force of nature fully evolved into his third stage Pokémon. Imagine if Stitch got 10 times bigger, stronger, and bulkier. Visually, Stitchomorph has grown significantly. He's taller, leaner, and more intimidating. His limbs are longer and more agile, with claws that crackle with energy. His fur has become sleek. He has an extra pair of legs, always visible, and walks on all six, making it super fast and sturdy. It has more back spikes that are longer and serve as a defense mechanism. This form trades some of the chaos for raw controlled power. It's no longer about causing mischief. Stitchomorph is here to win battles. As an electric dragon type, he gains access to devastating moves like Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor, Dragon Dance, and the signature move Bolt Howl. A roar of electric energy that damages all surrounding enemies and may lower their speed. By the way, Stitch's creator also worked on the toothless design from How to Train Your Dragon, so I thought giving Stitch evolution the dragon type will be a fun nod to that fun fact. His Pokédex entry might read, said to be a weapon from beyond the stars, Stitchomorph channels pure electricity through his body. When it howls, storms gather across the region. Lore-wise, Stitchomorph is almost mythic. Maybe it only evolves at a special location tied to alien energy, or even during a total eclipsing game. Trainers will need to be extremely dedicated to reach this final form. Despite the intimidating presence, Stitchomorph still has hints of the original charm. The green is still there, but now it's razor sharp. He still eat a sandwich mid-fight if given the chance. But don't underestimate him. This is a true apex Pokemon. And speaking of chaos, here's a bit of trivia. The original Lilo and Stitch movie had to be reanimated after 9/11. One scene features Stitch hijacking a commercial plane and flying it through a city. After the attacks, Disney reworked it to show a spaceship flying through mountains instead. Just another example of how much the movie evolved before becoming the quirky masterpiece we know today. And after working on some of the details, like the color around the antennas or the highlight on the tail, we can say the final form of the evolution of Stitch is finished. Here you have it in all its glory. Let me know what you think. Now let's see them all together in their evolution order and correct scale. I imagine the level you will need to make it evolve, with 16 levels needed to go from Stibby to Stitch and 32 to get the ultimate Stitchomorph. Now, having the 3 different stages, I wanted to create a fun illustration depicting them as if you just took a picture in Pokémon Snap. Here's the full family portrait: Stibby, Stitch, and Stitchomorph, all together in their natural habitat. I reimagined this scene as a peaceful moment between battles, a rare glimpse of this evolution line just living out in the wild, with a big Stitchomorph protecting all the small Stibbies in the wild. I took advantage of Cliff Studio Paint's grass and foliage brushes to create the background faster. I love drawing this piece because it let me show a softer side of these characters. Outside of battle, they're still a family, connected by evolution, energy, and personality. And there you have it, from the clever chaos of Stitch to the sparkly mischief of Stibby, and finally, the legendary force of Stitchomorph. This evolution line brings all the heart and havoc of Stitch into the world of Pokemon. Let me know which form is your favorite, and which character should I turn into a Pokemon next. Want to see a different drawing challenge? How about drawing Ellie from The Last of Us in 4 different styles? I'll see you there.